Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar, Grow Your Business by Making Business Buyers Buy. My name is Sylvia Lessard and I'm with CFIB. Before we start, I do have a few housekeeping items. First, on your control panel, you will see a section called Questions. This is where we invite you to type in your questions at any time during the webinar. If you don't see the questions or the panel, just look for an orange arrow on your screen and click on it. Please note we will do our best to answer all your questions during the Q&A at the end of the webinar. Also in the control panel, under the section called Handouts, you will see a copy of the PowerPoint slide from today's webinar. You just need to click on the section Handouts to open it, and then you can save the document. Finally, please know we will send you an email tomorrow with a recorded version, with a link to this webinar and with further information. So I'm happy to turn it over now to Mr. Michael Haynes from Listen, Innovate, Grow. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Sylvie. Good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for attending my webinar this afternoon, Grow Your Business by Making Business Buyers Buy. Just one moment. This works. Okay, sorry about that. So the key takeaway I want you to get from this afternoon's webinar today is that to build, grow, and maintain the growth of your business, you need to do three things. You need to listen, you need to innovate, and you need to grow. And over the course of the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to do that effectively to really help you grow your business by selling to business buyers. Now, first, just before we get started, just a little bit about myself. So I'm Michael Haynes. I am a SME and startup advisor, originally from Toronto, the great city of Toronto, Ontario, and now I live in Sydney, Australia, and I work with companies both in Canada and Australia. In terms of Canadian companies, working with some insurance firms in Toronto, law firm, engineering firms right now. Also, I'm an advisor with Startup Canada, so do a lot of work with the Startup Canada team, helping startups to how they can effectively build, sell, and grow their businesses. And I have over 20 years of experience working in that B2B space with everyone from sole operators to big corporates. And so I'm going to be sharing some of the insights with you from my experiences to help you build and grow your business. Now, B2B is great for small business. Now, before I get into the detail, just want to clarify, in case some of you are not aware, what exactly do I mean when I'm talking about B2B? So B2B is about selling your products, services, and solutions to other businesses. So for instance, if you're, let's say, an engineering technology company, and you've got an engineering solution, and you sell it to other businesses, that is what we call B2B. Or if you're a graphic designer or an accountant, and you're selling those services to other businesses, that is what we call B2B. Now, B2B, right now, it is a great time as small businesses to get into B2B and selling to large corporates and governments. Why so? Is because large corporates now are really taking a very different attitude and are really wanting to work with small businesses. There used to be a saying, no one gets fired for hiring IBM. Those days are now over. Large corporates are recognizing that as small businesses, they're getting the tailored products and services that they need. They can get the expertise that they need, that level of service and support. We as small businesses have the hunger. We're really going to step up and deliver to them. And we're also more adaptable, flexible, and much more akin to working with them. So large corporates now, large businesses are really recognizing these benefits. And as small, medium business owners, as SMEs, there are many benefits for us to get those bigger, larger clients. They'll mean larger revenues. They can mean long-term contracts and relationships. Sometimes you might even get exclusivity, whereby for your product or service category, you're the only provider they'll deal with, and you'll have loyal, sticky customers and buyers. And that is very important, as even when some of those individuals, those key stakeholders, which I'm going to talk about shortly, move on, they will often still continue to do business with you. So B2B is great for small business, and that is where we really want to try and win and gain more of those clients, because it really will mean long-term sustainable growth and success for your business. Now, in order to be successful, particularly in that larger end of town, so if you have aspirations of wanting to get those bigger companies, your Air Canadas, your Bell Canadas, those larger organizations, there are 5 secrets that we need to know about business buyers. That is through listening, and I'm going to go through that in a moment. But to attract, acquire, and retain business customers, you really have to understand these 5 secrets that I'm going to take you through. And these 5 secrets are critical because they will be the foundation for everything that your business does in terms of what you deliver, in terms of your products, your services, your solutions, how you deliver. So in terms of the level of service, service level guarantees, what choice of channel will you offer, potentially face-to-face, online, combination of both. How you promote as well as engage with your business customers, with your business buyers, because it's not just about promotion. And in terms of marketing, I'm going to talk about what are the ways that we as small businesses and businesses looking to sell to organizations need to promote effectively, but it's about engaging and having a relationship and delivering value to your business buyers. So there are these 5 secrets I'm going to take you through now. These are the foundation, and getting an in-depth understanding of these should be guiding everything that your small business is doing now and moving forward. Okay, so the first secret number 1 is what I call is who is at the helm. So when you're selling into larger organizations, there are a number of people that will be involved in the buying process. Latest studies right now show both within Canada and domestically in the B2B context, where you're dealing with larger organizations, there's anywhere between, on average, 6 to 8 people that will be involved in the buying process. Now, while there'll be 6 to 8 people involved and that will have some influence and involvement, typically there will be 1 or 2 key people that will actually sign that contract, actually sign the check. It is very critical that you identify who these 6 to 8 people are, and they're typically very much focused on strategic and financial objectives. Often their objectives really are going to revolve more or less around one of 3 things: increasing revenues, taking costs out of the business, increasing customer revenue and retention and satisfaction. So it's very important that you identify who are these 6 to 8 people, what are their strategic objectives, and again, broadly, they will revolve again around one of those 3 things: revenues, increasing revenues, reducing costs, increasing customer satisfaction and retention. Now, one key thing you always must be keeping in the back of your mind when you're looking to sell your products or services to other businesses is that this is B2B. Buyers and users are not one and the same. Who may sign the contract and who may make the decision to use your graphic design services, your technology services, your engineering product or platform, who signs that actual contract and says, your business is the provider we're going to go with, may not be the person involved or using it. So you must be very conscious of this. Buyers and users are not one and the same. Buyers, decision makers, can have different priorities and objectives as opposed to just users. So you must always keep that in the back of your mind. This is something that many organizations, both large and small, in a B2B context miss out. They focus on user requirements, but not keeping top of mind of the decision makers' requirements, their objectives, again, around often those 3 broad categories and how those objectives are going to be met. Now, one key watch out, so that's very important that you always be mindful of that. Also, do not necessarily assume always that decision makers are always going to be at the senior, most top levels of the organization. So secret number 1, who is at the helm? So find out who really makes that decision. Typically, it's those 1 or 2 people. Who are those 1 or 2 people? What are their key objectives and priorities, make sure you have a deep understanding of them, and show how your product or service offering from your business can help to deliver to that. The second secret that you need to know is who is in the buyer's inner circle. So as I said before, there's on average 6 to 8 people. Typically, there'll be 1 or 2 people that will actually be the true buyer, the true decision maker. But again, there are going to be other people that are going to be influencing the decision. So you've got your decision makers, so your 1 or 2 people that make that decision whether or not to buy. Then what we have within the organization are there are your influencers. So now your influencers are people within these organizations. They're very well regarded. They're the ones that will have the ear to the decision makers. They will evaluate the various alternatives and offerings, competing offerings that could be available to provide that product or service solution that they're looking for, and they'll provide input, advice, recommendations to the decision makers as to which product or service provider they should go with. So you want to try and identify who are the influencers for involved in the decision making for the products or services you're involved with. Another key person you want to try and identify is what we call is the change agent. So the change agent is another person, it's really another kind of influencer. This person also is highly knowledgeable, well regarded, but this person is one that really has a lot of pull within the organization. So they're the ones that really can drive change. They're quite effective and can build consensus across the various decision makers and stakeholders within the organization. And they really understand the inner workings of the organization. And so they're the ones that can really tell you how the decision-making process works, who you need to be talking to make sure that the decisions for that product or service is made in your favor. So you need to really identify the decision makers, which is shown on the left. Who are those true buyers who actually signed the check in the contract, but who has the ear to them? Who are the ones that are going to provide recommendations, advice, and input into the decision-making process? Now, just a couple of signals of how you know you have a change agent. So some signals of how you know you have a change agent is that typically they're often ones who really will talk about the greater needs of the broader business organization, of the business units that you'll be dealing with within that company. They're the ones that can really follow through for you when you make requests about getting additional information within the company, setting up meetings potentially with other key stakeholders, other members of the buying group. So that's secret number 2, the buyer's inner circle. So really have an in-depth understanding of who are the people that will be involved in the buying process. Secret number 3 is what I call experience. So once you've identified, those key people involved in the decision-making process, and I will talk about shortly how we go about doing so, once you've identified who they are, you need to understand how it is they make their decisions to buy. So what is it that they're going to be looking at to inform their decision whether or not they're going to go with you or some other product or service provider. And this can be an array of things. It can be case studies. They may want to see customer references whereby they want to be able to call a couple of your clients to speak with them to get information of the value you provided, what it's like to working with you, what is the business impact of working with you and using your product or service. There are referrals. Referral is a big one in business to business. Word of mouth is massive. I believe the latest stat is that 70% of senior decision makers will refer to a peer or colleague before making a purchase decision. Any of those of you in the IT technology space, I believe the latest stat say it's up to 85%. So referrals will be a very big thing. Industry analysts and experts, so who are those regarded go-to people within your respective industries? So those are the ones that are often you hear speaking at your key industry events. They're in your trade magazine, so they're really providing point of view. Recommendations from influencers as well. So you really want to get an understanding of what are those sources of buying decision information that they're going on. Typically, decision makers, those involved in the buying decision, so those 6 or 8 people I spoke about involved, typically they will use on average 3 sources. So it could be referrals and case studies, it could be performance stats, but typically they will use 3 to inform their buying decision. So you really want to get an understanding of who those 6 to 8 people are again, and then what are those key pieces of information, their shopping experience, what are they using to make their buying decision. Now I do want to call a watch out. In terms of purchasing departments, otherwise known as vendor management, procurement, please, please, please watch those like the plague. They are not decision makers, they are gatekeepers. So if you get referred to purchasing people, you're going to have to do more legwork to see who within the organization you need to be talking to. Purchasing departments, procurement departments, they're merely gatekeepers. They merely will be looking at a short list defined by other stakeholders, members of the buying group within the organization. So if you get a contact and are introduced to someone in procurement or immediately sent to procurement, you have more work to do because you are not dealing with decision makers, you're dealing with gatekeepers, and they typically just go very much by template on very arbitrary criteria. They don't make the decisions to buy, they won't really understand the buying criteria. Secret number 4 is your buyer's modus operandi. So we've identified, once you've identified who are the people involved in the buying decision, you really need to get an in-depth understanding of these business buyers in terms of the company business. You have to go armed and ready. Anytime you're going to meet a prospect, you really have to understand that company's business in depth. You should be going to those meetings armed with an understanding of their key strategic priorities. You know, what are the key business issues? What are they looking to achieve? What are some of the challenges? You really have to come in armed and ready, coming to your meetings, even if it's an initial contact, coffee meeting with someone that you've been introduced to through your network, and you've been given an introduction. You must be going to all of these meetings, even that first introductory coffee meeting, armed and ready to have an in-depth understanding of the company's business, and be always having in your mind how your product and service can help deliver value to that organization. So you need to understand the company business, key business issues, objectives and priorities, and you also want to get to know those individual stakeholders. You want to understand them on a personal level. What are their motivations? Are they looking to get promotion? Are they looking to really achieve certain business objectives in terms of KPIs, certain performance within their business unit and or their company overall? Are they looking for industry and peer recognition? So are they looking to be recognized by peers and potentially being introduced to other contacts within their industry? So you want to get an understanding of your buyers in terms of their strategic, financial, but also individual priorities so that you can deliver value to them and determine ways of how you can help them. Because at the end of the day, in business to business, business buyers are looking to go with those who they know, who they trust, who understand them, understand their business, and can help them achieve their objectives. So it's all about getting that depth of understanding and trying to deliver value to them, whatever it is they need, which might be, in addition to your core offering, it might be information, it might be advice, it might be contact. So it's getting that depth of understanding. Secret number 5 is what I call silver bullets to make buyers buy. So you need to also now get an understanding of what are the specific criteria buyers and influencers are looking for from the products, from your product and service offering. So this could be expertise, specialization in specific industries. They may want you to have specific capabilities in terms of certain things that you can do. It can be service levels. So they might be looking for service level guarantees or service level assurances in terms of if we're talking, for example, IT, your restoration times, if your services go down. It could be in terms of delivery or repairs, for example. It could be call response time. So are they looking for certain kind of service levels? They may want certain certifications, so certain industry recognized certifications. It could also be around meeting specific business outcomes, achieving certain performance levels. So you want to get an understanding of what are those specific things that they are looking for that the product or service provider must have in order for them to want to select and work with you. So these 5 secrets are quite critical. So having an understanding of who is the ultimate decision maker, so who is at the helm, who is in the buying circle, so who are the other stakeholders that they have to, that the buyers are relying on to inform and help them make the decision. What are the key kinds of information, so that it's shopping experience, what are the pieces of information or who they're talking to inform the decision, what are their priorities, objectives, and personal motivations, and then the silver bullets, what are those specific criteria. So getting in depth of these 5 secrets, again, will give you focus, and it's going to let you know exactly what your company needs to deliver in terms of information, products and services, specific capabilities. It will tell you, again, how to deliver, so what sort of service levels, is it reach, is it choice of mode of how they interact with you, and then also how do you need to promote and engage with the customers, with those buyers. Now, in terms of you may be asking, okay, so Michael, this is all fine and dandy. How do we go about listening to business customers? Well, there's a number of ways that you go to listen to get that deep depth of understanding to help you identify the buyers and then also to gain an in-depth understanding of them. So there's a number of things. I'm not going to go in any particular order here. Industry and market reports that I have at the bottom. So often you can get that kind of free information on the internet. That is often quite valuable to build your understanding about the business, who's involved, who are the key stakeholders. So that's often a good starting point. Then once you are able to identify some of those key people, then there are some other ways that you can do so. Customer visits, which I have at the top, is a really good way where you go to your prospect, your customer's premises, so you can see what they're doing, how they operate, and get an in-depth understanding of what's going on. So customer visits, having in-depth interviews, discussions with the key stakeholders is also a very impactful and effective way to gain that listening, to gain that in-depth understanding. There's what I call strategic customer workshops. So this is also another way to get an in-depth understanding of your customers. And strategic customer workshops are whereby it's essentially holding a workshop whereby you have members of your business meeting members of your prospects or customers' business and cross-functionally, so you have management and members from the various relevant departments, and it's having an exchange of information and dialogue where you get an understanding of, you articulate what you're doing, and how you can add value to them, and you're letting them talk about their key business issues, their priorities, what they're looking to do, where they're having issues. Strategic customer workshops is a very effective way to really build and maintain that long-term relationship. Customer advisory panels is also another effective way as well. Customer advisory panels is whereby you have a panel of a select group of your customers, and you meet with them once or twice a year, and having a mini kind of workshop where you are periodically meeting once or twice a year and discussing what are some of the key challenges and priorities that they're having, what are the things that you're doing, and determining how you can deliver it to them. So listening to business customers, it's about having that structured dialogue. For those of you who are thinking, I don't have a lot of time, I don't have a lot of resources, your industry and market reports, doing that background research, using industry market reports, leveraging LinkedIn as well to help identify the appropriate people are good starting points. And then it's about doing customer visits and or interviews are some key, very effective ways to get an in-depth understanding of your customers. Now, just a couple of other tips quickly with regards to listening to customers. When you're doing your listening, and doing that kind of interviewing, those structured discussions, it should be 80% listening. So you should be doing most of the listening, letting your customers, your prospects, doing a lot of the talking, because it's about you gathering, and you should be capturing, documenting the feedback you're getting from them in terms of their priorities, their challenges, how they're going to use your product, what they're looking for you, how you might be able to help provide them value. Where possible, again, if you can do having these kinds of discussions, workshops on the company premises so you can be in their environment and get a sense of what's going on is very effective. And also, please, no friends or family feedback. In terms of, as much as that can often be an easy way to get some insights, you really want to have fully objective feedback. So by all means, definitely please avoid doing the friends and family. While it might be an easy way, you're not going to get a true, objective, unbiased feedback that you need. So listening, getting an understanding across those 5 secrets through listening will, again, give you the focus that you need to help you build your business and gain those business customers. Now, how you win, how you succeed is through what I call business innovation. So business innovation is how you win. Now, when people hear the word innovation, they typically talk about and think about, creating the new best, that thing, that application. They think about technology, that it's got to be something, quite grand, disruptive. We think, Amazon, we think Airbnb. I'm talking about business innovation. And innovation, an actual definition of innovation, can be new introductions and or improvements. Now, if you're going to be building and growing your business, if you want to be getting larger business customers, you need to be thinking about how you can business innovate, i.e. how you can improve across all elements of your business. And in terms of business innovation, you should be considering across 4 types. There is product and service innovation, organizational innovation, process innovation, and marketing innovation. Now, in the interest of time for today, I'm really going to be focusing heavily on product innovation, product service innovation, and marketing innovation. But I just want to say again, you want to be thinking about how you can make new introductions and or improvements across your entire business operations, not just within developing a new product, which is where people think about typically innovation. And just to give you some stats in terms of the impact that business innovation has on business growth, in particular for small and medium businesses, studies have been shown that small, medium businesses that are able to maintain high growth, i.e. 20% or more increase year on year on their revenues for a 3-year period or more, will typically are ones that business innovate. So they innovate and improve over multiple areas. Okay, so I'm going to go through now and talk about product innovation. So product innovation is about introducing new products, and it can be making enhancements to your product offering. As selling to other businesses, one form of business innovation that you want to be considering is what I call the business customer solution. So this is about thinking of it and developing a whole product for your business customer. And typically, I break it down into 3 key components. So you have your core product or service offering. Then you want to see what additional value adds. So based, again, on having an understanding of those business buyers, what are their objectives, priorities, challenges, what are additional things that you can provide to your customers in addition to your core products or service offering. So it could be things such as training, it could be reporting, it could be providing advice, it could be industry research, it could be about providing maintenance. You want to see what other value adds, again, defined by the needs of the buyers that you're looking to do business with. So what other kind of value adds? And then there are any service and support enhancements. So this could be extended hours, it could be choice of channel, it can be service level of agreements, it could be looking at your order and inventory systems, it could be providing financing, payment options. So what sort of things can you provide to support your customers to help make things easier for your customers? So you want to be from a product, and when I say product, would be a product or service, think beyond the core offering and think what kind of value adds that will help them achieve their business what additional things that you can provide to create a full solution. So that is something every business owner should be looking to do, even if it's something as simple as just providing additional information and content through blogs. It might be hosting an event, a webinar yourself where you're providing information about trends, what's happening in the industry. Think about, based on your business buyer needs, their objectives, how you can add value to them and make their customer experience and overall provide service and support to help them. So that's product innovation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is marketing innovation. Now, there are two forms of marketing innovations that every small business should definitely be undertaking, as these are low cost but can be highly effective in driving and growing your business. So the first one is known as influencer marketing. So influencer marketing is all about identifying those leaders and experts in your particular niche, in your particular industry, and getting them to promote your company and its offerings. Okay, and this is an effective way to help build and grow your business and get into those larger customers. B2B buyers, as I said before, will typically refer to who are those industry leaders, who are those industry experts. Now, just to clarify, when I'm talking about influencer marketing and the industry leaders and experts, I'm not talking about the Gary V's, the Tim Ferrisses of the world. I'm talking about who are those leaders, those respected people within your particular niche or industry. And so these are going to be people that are highly specialized in a particular topic, particular industry. They're not going to be well known to other business colleagues outside of your industry, your friends, colleagues. These are people that are the experts within your particular niche. So we often refer to them as micro-influencers. Now, these are people that are the go-tos. And so what kind of people am I talking about? These kinds of people can be bloggers. They might be podcast hosts. They could be academics. They could be journalists. They could be the ones that are speaking at some of your key trade and industry events. They're the ones, people that you often see in some of your industry trade publications that are writing guest articles. These are the kinds of people that you want to be looking out for and to be seeing how you can get them to promote your products and services. Now, influencers can be highly impactful because they can help your business in a number of ways. They can help you in terms of getting in with key prospects. They can help you getting into industry events, getting media exposure, helping you to establish your business as having that expertise and really having a presence in some of the industries and markets that you're targeting for. And you only need to have one, can be a real big game changer. Now, how do you go about getting influencers to help you? Well, it's all about helping them. So it's really about helping them to increase their reach, their status. So what are sorts of things that you could be doing with influencers? It can be things such as sharing blogs and videos, sharing news about their events and initiatives, providing access to industry experts and some of your contacts. So some of the contacts that you might have could be the very kinds of people within your industry they want to be looking to connect with and build relationships with. Offering your skills and expertise to assist them. So perhaps you're providing services or you've got products and services that can help them build their business. So it is about identifying who are those key people, again, within your niche, those go-to, trying to build a relationship with them, and then seeing how you can help and work with them. And I want to say this is something that can be really, really impactful. You only need to have one, and it can be the game changer in terms of your business. On the screen to the far right, you'll see an individual there, Rivers Corbett. Perhaps some of you might know Rivers Corbett. Rivers Corbett is a leader. He's in the Canadian startup space. He's really a key leader in the SME startup space. I've been very fortunate through my interactions with Rivers. He's endorsed my book. Through Rivers, I've been able to tap into some international global leaders and are being able now to do work with some leading people in the startup community overseas in the U.S. and in the UK, and that is very much thanks to Rivers. So just as a personal example of how building a relationship, working with even just one influencer can be a big game changer in terms of opening up opportunities to work with other people, gaining access to events, etc. But again, it's about finding the go-tos for your industries and your particular markets. The next form of marketing innovation that every small business should be looking at is what we call advocacy marketing. And advocacy marketing has there are two forms of advocacy marketing. It is referrals and references. So referrals, again, very, very big in the B2B space. 84% of B2B buyers, typically start with referrals. Again, business buyers, again, we're talking business to business. Business buyers, they know it's big dollars, big risks. They want to go with people who they know and trust. So referrals will always be a key component of the decision. So you want to become part of the conversation, have your product, your company, and your product service offerings mentioned in the decision-making process. Excuse me. Now, with referrals, what the key success factor here, in order to make referrals really work, we all hear about word of mouth. We all hear about, yes, we should have we should be getting referrals and doing referrals. But the key to success, to really make referrals work for you and to really help grow your business, you need to be establishing a formal referral program. So what do I mean by formal referral program? I'm talking about setting up a program where you're providing value-added content and advice, and you're really showing those customers, those raving fans, your existing customers who really love you, providing them additional value. So that could be through a number of things. As part of a referral program, it could be a number of things. It could be providing them content, exclusive content. So it could be training, workshops. It can be providing. You might provide them some kind of free report. If you're developing a new product or service offering, you might provide those at a discount or enable them to do a trial for a period of time. So setting up a formal program where you're really recognizing those raving fans and giving them an opportunity to gain additional value from you as a product or service provider. Again, just some ideas can be, again, free trials, free reports. You might want to have them interviewed on if you have your own blog, podcast, so that they can use that and share within their networks, providing training, trialing new products. You might host an exclusive event where you're inviting other members and contacts that you have within your industries and your market and having some kind of VIP event, VIP days. So setting up that formal referral program and then setting up a process by which that they can refer to you products they can refer, and making it easy for them to refer is quite important. The second part of advocacy marketing, so we're setting up a formal referral program is one. The second is references. So setting up a formal reference process whereby your prospects and customers can speak to your customers, again, to find out about the product and service you provide, the impacts that your product and service had on their business, and what it's like to work with you. So customer references can take a variety of forms. It can be about enabling prospects to go to your customers and being able to actual visit. It could be having a discussion via phone. It could be, customer references can also be in the form of case studies. So you do detailed formal case studies that you can have, that you can provide to your prospects. It could be getting customers to speak on your behalf at industry company events, as well as the media. So customer references is something else that you really want to consider. But a key success factor, though, when you're having these references that are being used, be it through case studies, be it through customer visits, phone conversations, you want to make sure those references have buyer appeal. So they should be really appealing to the kinds of buyers that you're trying to attract for your business, because buyers want to know that there is that that relevancy. So you want to, and so that they can demonstrate that the right kind of references are really demonstrating how your organization is delivering value. So references and referrals, two forms which we call advocacy marketing, low cost, but two things you should be considering for your business, even just starting out small and with a few in terms of referrals, even just starting with a couple things in terms of free offers, through reward and recognition, references, and then building up to formal programs for your referral programs, and then for references, making sure that you're providing some different ways for customer references, but making sure that the kinds of references you have are really in line to the buyers that you're looking to attract. Now, just some a few other further tips about setting up a referral program. So be sure that when you've identified, first of all, identify who are those advocates. So who are those raving fans, those customers that really love you, really try to identify those. Then making sure you tell your advocates what you're looking for in an ideal prospect. So what are the kinds of organizations that you want to be, you're looking to go after? What are the kinds of roles that you're looking to connect with? What are the business problems and challenges you're trying to face? So again, you'll get this understanding through your listing, getting that detailed understanding of your buyers and prospects. Then you need to make sure it's easy to make it easy to refer. So what is the best ways for advocates to send referrals? So is it just sending an email? You might want to set up an online page on your intranet. And then making sure that you have a process set up within your organization in terms of how you're going to manage those referrals. So have processes set up that if it comes in, whether it be through email or through that page, online page, who are those referrals going to be going to? What's going to be the communication back? When is that going to occur? Also, try to make sure you find opportune times when are good times to ask for referrals. So what are those key points within your engagement and interaction for your customers to ask for referral? And then, again, it's all about providing rewards, recognition. What are the ways you can really deliver value? So again, it can be product and service upgrades, events, contests, promotions. So making sure you have a formal program, but again, making sure you identify who it is you're really looking for, what kind of organizations, what kind of roles, and making sure you have a process on how those referrals are going to be done, how you want those to be handled, if it's sent to you by email, and ideally, if you can provide, if you're going to use an email format, I highly suggest if you can provide a template and make it easy as possible to refer. So email is a really good way, but if you're going to do so, almost provide a template so it's very easy for them to populate. And then when they send it through, make sure you have a process, who receives those referral emails, and then what are going to be the next steps in terms of correspondence, both to the person that you're being referred to as well as the person that referred you, making sure you have that full process set out, and then again, thinking about ways of delivering value to your referees, because you've got to, and really do so really through value, where you can provide value to them to help them meet their objectives, because in order for them to continue showing you the love, you've got to show them the love. So those are some tips on establishing a referral program. And now finally, before we go to Q&A, I just want to give you just a couple examples of some success stories of some small and medium businesses who have been successful at building and growing their businesses through business customers and some of the things that they've done. So one on the left, Palladium Insurance. So that's one of my clients in Ottawa. They're an independent insurance brokerage, and they provide specialized insurance offerings in the areas of dental, funeral homes, brewers, and construction. Some of their keys to success, they've won a number of awards and been really would qualify as one of those high-growth firms, gaining that 20% year on year. Some of the key things that they do, the managing founder, Sylvie Forget, she continually, in terms of listening, constantly does annual client review meetings. So she'll have formal, detailed client review meetings with the client from those respective niches. So that happens at least once a year, and I believe she also has some informal mid-year discussions as well. And also the whole specialization. So specialization was another form of marketing, really focusing on those key niches. And so that's Palladium Insurance. I'll jump to the right, Ecobee. So Ecobee is they provide smart thermostats. Ecobee is based in Toronto. They started back in, I think, 2007. They have grown now to be the #2 smart thermostat monitor in the world. One of the keys to their success is their advocacy program. And they have developed quite an extensive advocacy program for their clients, where they provide everything from industry, getting opportunities for them to provide industry events, getting their clients to provide a lot of thought leadership and be involved in podcasts, videos, interviews. They provide also preferential access to their business customers with a lot of their new offerings and their new innovations. So that's another example. And then in the middle is a company called Empower Construction. That's one of my clients here in Australia. Empower Construction provides insulation solutions to your cladding and other insulation types of construction products. And they were the 2017 Optus Young Business Leaders of the Year. So Optus is the big telecommunications company in Australia, the equivalent to a Bell Canada. Some of their keys to success, so they started back in 2011 and again have been experiencing strong growth, growing from a 3-person operation to, I believe it's 25 plus. Again, regularly meeting with their clients, so they have both half-year and end-of-year meetings for their buyers, again, to gain that depth of understanding. They have developed a number of customer solutions, product solutions for insulation and cladding for their clients. And they also provide a lot of industry engagement. They attend a lot of events where they provide a lot of their subject matter expertise, like attending key industry events and providing that information to other members of the construction industry here in Australia. So those are just some examples of how, by listening, gaining in-depth understanding of their business customers, and then business innovating through, specialization, developing solutions, advocacy marketing. By doing these multiple things, these are just some examples of how you can maintain and have sustainable, profitable growth. Now, we'll open it up to any questions anyone may have right now. Okay, one question I have here. How often should we be speaking with business customers in order to gain that depth of understanding? My recommendation with regards to how often you should be meeting with customers is typically you should be meeting at least once a year with particularly your key customers and clients. If you don't have a lot of time, meeting at least once a year so that you're really maintaining on top of their issues and challenges. However, that being said, minimum once a year, but you really want to be conscious, because as things are changing in the industry or changing for your customers, you may need to be meeting more than that, but typically at least once a year so that you can understand where they're at, what some of their key challenges have been, and where they're looking to go and what they need to be doing. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I have a question here with regards to strategic customer workshops. What kind of industry are those applicable to? So strategic customer workshops, which I talked about. So strategic customer workshops, again, it's having meetings with your members of your customer group. Those work particularly well if you're involved in, it can be suited for all kinds of industry, but they work particularly well for your IT technical type solutions. It works particularly well for where there's a lot of complexity in the products and service offering. It works particularly well with them. Reason being, you can be bringing forth across members of both the management team, but then some of the key internal people around, your product and operations. So it typically works. It works very well in areas like technology, telecommunications, engineering, biotech. So very applicable in those, particularly for those industries. I've also had clients though that also have used it in professional services as well. It can also be quite effective using it in law firms, design firms. I've also seen them use those as well, graphic design agencies. So it can be quite applicable as well. I've got another question here. What should be the ultimate starting point with regards to when trying to get into business, larger business customers? Your starting point really is your research. It's research, and there also does leveraging your personal network. It starts with your research, and so your research will be, again, getting a detailed understanding of those companies that you're looking to get into. So doing online research about the companies itself, leveraging LinkedIn. If you have contacts for some of the companies that you're looking to pursue, you definitely want to use those and have some initial discussions with your contacts. However, they may not be the right people for your product or service offering, but they can definitely get you started. So having contacts is definitely valuable and useful. But again, it's about finding who is going to be relevant for your product or service offering. Certainly, where you can leverage your personal contacts, you definitely want to be doing so. But again, it may take a couple of steps for you to find the right decision makers, the right influencers that are going to be involved for your product or service offering. Just going through other questions here. How do I go about finding influencers for my respective industry? Good place to start is really, start with, if you're looking to find influencers for your industry, start with your industry trade publications and your events. Those are two good places to start. So who are the ones that are speaking at your events? And looking at some of the industry trade publications, who are the ones that are writing in those that are continually, regularly contributing? Those are two really good places to start. Oh, really good question here. What kind of time frames can it take in order to, when dealing with a large business customer, what kind of time frame will it take in order to actually get a product or service decision across the line? Unfortunately, my answer to that, unfortunately, is it depends. That really can vary depending on the number of people involved, the decision-making process within an organization, and also what stage they're at in the buying process. It can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a lot longer. It will really depend. That will really vary depending on how many stakeholders are involved, what are the number of steps. So yeah, it can take from a few weeks to several months. So unfortunately, that really will vary. The more complex, though, generally, the more complex, I guess, the more perceived risks that the buyers have from making that purchase, particularly if it's a new buy, something they haven't done before, that will take typically longer. Okay, well, that's it for all the questions. I hope you found this valuable and useful. If you would like to get more information, please go to my website, listeninnovategrow.com. So on the website there, you'll get a raft of information. I've got free resources such as checklists, planning toolkits. There is my newsletter as well that you can sign up for, Listen, Innovate, Grow, and you'll get tips and updates sent directly to your inbox. For those of you really short on time, there's Listen, Innovate, Grow TV. You'll have a whole series of episodes which are really short, bite-sized, 2 to 3 minute videos where I go into some deep dives talking about some of the different ways to understand your business customers, how you can have new introductions and improvements, different ways you can really work with and deliver value to your customers. I have interviews with entrepreneurs who talk about what they've been doing to build and grow their business. So definitely check those out. If you have any questions at all, by all means, please email me at info@listeninnovategrow.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. My Twitter handle is @toexcelyourbiz. And finally, for those of you, if you feel you need any assistance, I do have an introductory offer if you need some help in getting a roadmap to understand where you're at now and how to move forward. There is a special introductory offer. The details are there on the screen. If you want to find out about more, again, email me at info@listeninnovategrow.com. Thank you very much. I hope you found this to be very valuable, and have a great afternoon.